This topic, we have your chronic heart failure as well as yung ating unit outline. So for the unit outline, we will be dealing first with the pathophysiology. So kung paano nagkakaroon ng heart failure, yung 2 classes of your heart failure, tapos yung 8 forms po ng ating congestive or with your chronic heart failure. And then syempre, hindi naman mawawala yung mga treatments or yung mga drugs that is used in the management or in the treatment of your heart failure. Okay? So first, let's define what is heart failure. So from the word itself, nag-fail po yung puso natin. Bakit? Nagtagbahan ka ba ng maling tao? Hindi po. Okay? Nag-fail yung puso natin in a way na hindi po siya makapag-provide or hindi siya makapagbigay ng sufficient amount of blood to the different parts of our body. Okay? So this would be referring to the cardiac disorder. So diseases of the heart pa din siya. Wherein yung ventricles natin, so ang problem natin dito would be the ventricles, yung lower part ng chamber ng heart natin, is unable to deliver adequate quantities. So hindi kasya or hindi sufficient po yung binibigay niyang dugo to the different metabolizing tissues that is used during the normal activity or at rest. Okay? So again, kapag sinabi natin heart failure, yung heart natin is unable to meet yung mga metabolic demands o yung metabolic requirements ng different metabolizing tissues natin. Okay? So with your heart failure, meron tayong 3 cardinal signs. Okay? So ibig sabihin, kapag nakakaranas ka na neto, technically, meron ka ng heart failure. Okay? So we have your DEF. Sino na DEF? Number 1, kapag daw meron ka ng dyspnea. Okay? So dyspnea, this would be the medical term for your shortness of breath. Okay? So kapag nahihirapan ka ng huminga or kapos ka ng huminga, probably meron ka na po, hindi naman most of the time. So cardinal signs lang siya. So kapag itong tatlo present sa isang tao, technically meron ng heart failure yung isang tao. Another would be, we have your edema. So kapag nagkakaroon na ng pagmamanas because of the fluid built up with your heart, so that would be one cardinal sign of your heart failure. And then lastly, we have your fatigue. Okay? So kapag meron ng dyspnea or shortness of breath, kapag meron ng edema, we have your, meron tayong dalawang types of edema mamaya, as well as kapag nakakaramdam na ng fatigue yung isang pasyente, technically po meron na po siyang heart failure. Okay? So first, what causes your heart failure? So bakit nagkakaroon ng heart failure? Okay? Number 1, because of the injury. So nagkaroon po ng injury with your myocardial cells or with your myocardial muscles that came from variety of causes. Okay? So ito po sila ischemic heart disease. Again, kapag sinabing ischemia, anong ibig sabihin ng ischemia? Decrease or low blood supply or low oxygenation, as well as with your hypertension and your diabetes. So usually po, yung pinaka-pathophysiology ng ating heart failure is dalawa yung problem natin. Number 1 is that masyadong mataas o masyadong marami po yung trabaho ng ating puso. So kaya para din sa tao yan, di ba? Kapag madami kang trabaho or madami kang ginagawa, nakaka-burn out talaga, di ba? Or kaya parang naman matapagod ka talaga. Okay? Mag-feel ka talaga in a way na hindi mo na ma-achieve or hindi mo na magawa yung mga requirements sa school or pwede rin sa life. So parang puso din natin yan. So one main cause kung bakit nagkakaroon ng heart failure would be the increased cardiac workload. Okay? Pangalawa naman po would be the reduced cardiac contractility. So ibig sabihin, bumababa po yung strength o yung tension para makapag-produce ng contraction with our heart. So hindi na siya ganun kalakas mag-push ng dugo para lumabas po dun sa ating puso at mapunta dun sa different parts of our body. So ano naman treatment natin with this one? So syempre, papataasin. Okay? So for the treatment is that, unang-una would be, bababaan natin yung workload ng ating puso. Okay? So again, number 1 treatment natin, since number 1 problem natin is increase in cardiac workload. So technically, yung magiging treatment natin dito would be to decrease yung cardiac workload. So tutulungan po natin yung puso natin sa mga trabaho niya by administering your drugs na tinatawag natin mga unloaders. Okay? So itong mga unloaders nito, ito po yung nakaka-apekto dun sa ating preload at saka dun sa ating afterload. Okay? Next would be problem natin would be decrease in cardiac contractility, tataasan natin yung cardiac contractility. So usually, di ba, dun sa mga inaral natin with regards to your angina as well as with your hypertension, ayaw natin itong contraction. Di ba, usually, pine-prevent po natin itong contraction. Pero maliban na lang kapag heart failure. Since humihina na yung ating puso, ang gagawin po natin is papalakasin natin siya. So mag-a-administer tayo ng mga drugs that can increase this contractility. And ang tawag po natin dun sa mga drugs na yun, we have your inotropic drug. Okay? Again, your inotropic drug, these are the drugs that can increase your cardiac contraction. Since yung problem nga, mahina na yung puso natin. Okay? So as part of our treatment, papalakasin natin yung pag-contract ng puso natin para naman kahit papaano madaming dugo yung mapalabas dun sa puso natin. Thereby achieving or thereby meeting yung demands na kailangan ng katawan natin. Okay? So dalawang type ng drugs, we have your unloader medicines as well as your inotropic medicines. Okay? So with the pathophysiology of your heart failure, dalawa lang yan. We have your compensated heart failure as well as your decompensated heart failure. Kapag sinabi po compensated, so from the word itself, compensated na yung ating heart failure, parang mild form lang siya ng heart failure. Wherein, yung puso mo, okay naman siya magtrabaho, it works well enough. It's either lang na hindi mo napapansin na merong problem, o kaya naman, merong sintomas, pero madali lang i-manage yung mga sintomas. Okay? So, ganun po kapag compensated heart failure. Again, kapag compensated, okay naman na yung puso, nag-work naman siya in a way na dalawa lang naman yung magiging parang resulta. It's either, merong ang problem, pero yung problem na binobrought niya is easy to manage, o kaya naman pangalawa, is hindi mo nalalaman na meron parang problem. Kasi very mild lang naman na siya. Okay? So, since compensated or very mild lang naman na to, pwede siyang maagapan ng tinatawag nating mga compensatory mechanisms. Kumbaga, yung sariling katawan natin, sila na yung parang aagap, okay, or gagamot with this compensated heart failure. So, what are the following several compensatory mechanisms? So, we have your sympathetic responses. So, i-activate po natin yung sympathetic nervous system para magkaroon ng contraction. Pangalawa, hormonal stimulation. So, mag-release po tayo ng mga hormones that can cause contraction. Pangatlo would be your concentric cardiac hypertrophy. So, papalakin natin yung puso. Magkakaroon ng cardiac remodeling with this one. And then lastly, we have your Frank-Starling mechanism. But kindly do take note that these compensatory mechanisms, they are beneficial at the initial stages of your heart failure. But all of these compensatory mechanisms can lead to a vicious cycle of worsening your heart failure. So, parang bang short term lang sila. Hindi mo sila pwedeng abusuhin. Okay? So, ganun po yung with your compensatory mechanism. Okay? So, kunwari daw nakadetect yung katawan natin na parang mayroon tayong binuproduce na low output ng blood. Okay? So, number one compensatory mechanism would be to activate yung ating sympathetic nervous system. Okay? So, by activating your sympathetic nervous system, so ma-activate yung ating beta receptors, yung ating mga alpha receptors, and knowing with your beta receptors, specifically your beta 1, di ba? Si beta 1 po, siya yung responsible for the positive inotropic effect, positive chronotropic effect, tapos si beta 1 din yung involved sa RAAS. So, kapag na-activate yung ating SNS, or kapag na-activate yung ating beta 1, magkakaroon po ng hormonal stimulation, or magkakaroon na ng release ng mga hormones. In a way na, ma-activate po yung ating RAAS system. So, we have your renin, your angiotensin, as well as your aldosterone system. So, kapag meron na tayong aldosterone, it will lead to your vasoconstriction, tataas po yung ating afterload, thereby increasing your output na. Okay? So, again, compensatory mechanisms lang to. Okay? Pang short term lang to, hindi po natin sila pwedeng abusuhin. Kapag inabuso natin sila, mas lalo lang lalala yung heart failure ng isang tao. Okay? So, yan din. So, kapag na-release si aldosterone, tataas yung salt content or yung salt retention, tataas din naman na yung ating afterload. Okay? Pangatlong circulatory mechanism, we have your concentric cardiac hypertrophy. Okay? So with your concentric or with your hypertrophy, so ibig sabihin ng hypertrophy, lumalaki po yung size, okay? Particularly na po with our heart, okay? So with your hypertrophy, we have two types. So we have your concentric hypertrophy at saka pa si eccentric hypertrophy, okay? So anong pinagkaiba nila? With your concentric hypertrophy, ang nangyayari po dito is that namamaga or kumakapal yung lining ng ating ventricles. Again, kapag concentric hypertrophy, nagkakaroon po ng pagkapal sa lining ng ating ventricles. Okay? So, kapag kumapal yung lining ng ventricles natin, konti na lang yung space para sa dugo natin. Okay? So, again, kapag kumapal itong lining ng ventricles, konting space na lang ang pwede para magkasya yung dugo natin. So, since konting dugo lang ang pwedeng makapasok, konting dugo lang din ang ilalabas ng ating puso. Okay? So, that would be for your concentric hypertrophy. Kapag eccentric hypertrophy naman, it is characterized by the dilatation of your left ventricular chamber. Ito naman kabaliktaran, masyadong manipes. Okay? So, masyadong manipes, in a way na, hindi siya ganun ka nag-stretch. Okay? Unlike kasi with this one na sobrang kapal, konti lang yung space. Ito, maraming space nga, pero hindi siya ganun nag-stretch. Okay? So, di ba yung ating heart nag-stretch yan para magkaroon ng preload as well as with your afterload. Kapag eccentric, masyadong manipis yung lining, thereby, konti lang yung stretch na nagagawa ng puso natin. Saka very delicate to or very fatal to in a way na pwedeng mabutas yung lining ng ventricles natin. Okay? That would be for your concentric as well as with your eccentric. Again, kapag concentric, masyadong makapal, wala nang space para sa dugo. Okay? Kapag eccentric, masyadong manipis, madaming dugo nga yung pwede natin malagay, pero sobrang nipis naman, in a way na hindi na masyadong nag-stretch yung ating heart muscles. Okay? So that would be for your hypertrophy. With your Frank-Starling mechanism naman, ang ginagawa with your Frank-Starling, parang ano lang siya, theory lang siya, in a way na sinasabi na yung puso natin is parang rubber band. Okay? So parang goma. So kapag nag-stretch, parang in-analogy lang kung paano mag-stretch yung puso natin. So kapag ma-stretch yung goma, malaki yung maaano. So malaki yung parang balik niya. Okay? Na-imagine nyo ba na kapag pinag-stretch natin yung goma, malaki yung balik niya. Unlike kapag konti lang yung pagka-stretch, konti lang din yung balik ng goma sa atin. Na-imagine yung pagbuhay yung goma. Kapag malaki yung pagkaka-stretch niya, so malalaki din yung, parang malakas din yung pagbalik niya. So thereby, imagine nyo na lang yung puso natin. Kapag sobrang stretch, malaki po yung parang ilalabas nating dugo or malaki yung i-eject nating dugo. Unlike kapag with this one, konting stretch lang, so konting dugo lang din yung malalabas ng ating puso. So parang ganun lang din yung sinasabi with your Frank-Starling mechanism. So increased fiber dilation heightens the contractile force. Okay? So kapag mataas yung contractile force, mataas yung energy na marirelease at mataas din yung blood na marirelease or ma-eject ng ating heart. Okay? So again, that would be for your compensated heart failure. With your decompensated naman, ito na yung may problem talaga or magkakaroon na talaga ng appearance of your signs and symptoms. Bakit? With your decompensated po kasi, dito na magkakaroon ng mismatch mismo. So there will be a mismatch or imbalance between your cardiac preload as well as the imbalance with your cardiac afterload. So medyo nalilito pa kung ano yung preload at saka kung ano yung afterload. So there is an inability to eject or accommodate blood within the physiological pressure levels. So para hindi malito kung ano po yung sinasabi kong preload at saka afterload, so ano na lang natin to? Parang tingnan na lang natin to. Kapag sinabi po cardiac preload, since pre yan, before, okay? Kapag sinabi natin pre, before, okay? So this would be the stretching mechanism of our heart, okay? So ito po yung dugo or volume of the blood that fills your heart before it contracts. Again, kapag sinabi natin nagko-contract yung puso, ayan, lumiliit po yung ating puso. Kapag sinabi nating preload, ito po yung volume ng dugo na present sa ating ventricles kapag nagkakaroon ng stretching mechanism. Ayan, kapag lumalaki yung puso natin. natin. That would be your cardiac preload. Again, this would be the volume of the blood. Again, kapag cardiac preload, ito po yung volume of the blood that is in our ventricles before it contracts. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, nag-stretch pa lang yung ating puso. So, kapag nagkakaroon ng stretching with our heart, yung dugo na nasa puso po natin, ayun po yung tinatawag nating cardiac preload. So, kapag sinabi natin preload, before mag-stretch or before pala mag-contract yung puso natin. So, this would be the force exerted on the ventricular muscle at the end of a diastole. So, kapag mataas yung preload, tendency, pwede makadevelop po ng heart failure. Or we have your mitral stenosis. Kapag sinabi po natin mitral stenosis, merong narrowing. Again, kapag nakarinig kayo ng word na stenosis, nagkakaroon ng narrowing. So, saan nagna-narrow? Sa ating mitral valve. Okay? So, that would be for your preload. Again, kapag preload, before po siya mag-contract. Ayan, kapag lumalaki yung size ng puso natin. Ayan po yung tinatawag nating preload. While for your afterload, ito naman na yung mag-squeeze na siya or mag-contract na siya. So, this would be during contraction. So, ito po yung mag-squeeze na yung ating puso. Kapag preload, nakastretch siya. Kapag afterload, mag-squeeze naman siya. So, this would be the tension in your ventricular muscles during contraction. Okay? So, it is the pressure or the resistance of the heart has to overcome para makapag-eject po siya ng dugo to supply the different demands or different metabolic requirements ng ating katawan. Okay? So, that would be for your preload as well as afterload. Again, kapag preload, squeeze or stretch. Stretch. Okay? Kapag afterload, that would be your squeeze. Okay? Same thing with your heart failure. Meron din po tayong mga classes. Okay? So, meron tayong classes of your heart failure. So, ano nga kasi yung tawag dun sa classification pag angina? Braunwald classifications. Sa heart failure naman po, it is according to your New York Heart Association. NIHA. Yung NIHA, yun nga, NIHA nga yung tawag dyan. Okay? Kung yung sa angina po, it is according to your Braunwald classification. Pag heart failure naman po, it is according to your NIHA or with your New York Heart Association. Pero same lang naman na sila. Kapag class 1, so itong class 1 na to, makakategorize daw natin na class 1 heart failure in a way na makakaramdaw daw po si patient or yung ating pasyente na mga cardinal signs. Ano nga kasi yung 3 cardinal signs? Dyspnea, edema, as well as fatigue. Same thing kapag nakakaramdam yung normal individual. So, for example, nagkaroon sila ng marathon, para gano'n. Tapos, hiningal po yung ating normal individuals. Hiningal din yung ating patients with heart failure. So, classified po yun as class 1. Okay? Kapag kina-compare siya with your normal individuals. Okay? Kapag class 2 naman po, these are the symptoms that occur during ordinary exertion. Kunwari, umakyat ka from first building to fourth building, tapos nakaramdam ka ng paghingal or ng shortness of breath, that would be classified as class 2 heart failure. Okay? Kapag class 3, ito na po yung less than the ordinary. Ito naman na hindi ka naman talaga dapat hingalin, pero hiningal ka pa rin. Okay? So that would be classified as a class 3 heart failure. Okay? Kapag class 4 naman to, ito yung walang ginagawa, nakapahinga lang, nakaupo lang, nakahiga lang, pero nagkakaroon pa din ng dyspnea, edema, as well as fatigue. Okay? So again, class 1, class 2, class 3, as well as your class 4 classes of your heart failure. Okay? So, yan pa lang yung classes. So now, let's move on with the forms of heart failure. Again, meron tayong 4. Okay? So, 4 na forms, pero kada form po may dalawang example. Okay? So, first, we have your low output as well as your high output heart failure. So, kindly do take note na with your low output, it is the most common type of heart failure. Again, si low output po, siya yung most common type ng heart failure. So, paano with your low output? according with this one, sa low output po, normal naman na yung demand ng katawan natin, pero hindi ma-meet ng ating puso. Okay? So again, normal naman na yung level ng pangangailangan o yung requirements natin, pero hindi siya ma-meet ng ating puso. Again, heart failure po tayo ha. Kapag sinabi natin heart failure, this would be referring to the inability of the heart, okay, to meet our demands. So example would be your low output, the metabolic demands are within normal, but the heart is unable to meet them. Unlike kasi kapag high output, mayroon yung pangangailangan. So malaki yung pangangailangan. May certain reasons kung bakit malaki yung pangangailangan or malaki yung metabolic demands natin. So this would be the following causes. We have hyperthyroidism or mataas yung thyroid level, severe anemia, pregnancy, as well as your beriberi. Okay? So meron mga dito nakakaalam kung ano ang beriberi. So this would be your vitamin B1 deficiency. Again, with your beriberi, this is also known as your vitamin B1 deficiency. So usually kasi si vitamin B1, ginagamit yan as an antidote for alcoholism or alcohol toxicity. Kaya nga diba yung mga mautak dyan, pag alam nilang magpo-bar sila, tapos iinom, talagang magpapaka-hangover, iinom muna sila ng mga vitamin B complex. Kasi diba, yung vitamin B complex, meron yung vitamin B1. No, alam na alam, ilag-ilag, diba? So talagang pagpapapak nila yung mga vitamin B complex para hindi sila magkaroon ng hangover. Okay? So again, kapag low output, normal yung pangangailangan pero hindi ma-meet. Kapag high output, mataas yung pangangailangan, still, hindi pa din namimit ng ating katawan. And again, your low output is the most common type of heart failure. Okay? Another classification is we have your right-sided as well as with your left-sided heart failure. But before we discuss this one, let me discuss kung paano po yung flow ng dugo papunta sa ating puso. Okay? Discuss ko kasi nung unang meeting natin would be yung simplified version lang ng Italia Ventricle. Okay? So yung ating dugo, magagaling yan sa ating lower as well as with our upper extremities. So kapag nanggaling siya sa taas natin from our brain up to our shoulder, papasok po yan na tinatawag nating superior vena cava. Okay? And then from our lower extremities, yung blood na galing or na-collect sa ating lower extremities, papasok naman po yan ng ating inferior vena cava. Again, kapag upper extremities, superior vena cava. And from lower extremities, we have your inferior. But, take note, deoxygenated blood pa lang yan. Kaya nga, color blue po siya, wala pang oxygen yung papasok sa ating puso. Okay? Saan sila unang makikita? So, itong dalawang to, unang makikita yung dugo na dinadala nila sa ating right atrium. Again, from your superior and with your inferior vena cava, yung deoxygenated blood, mapupunta muna kay right atrium. Okay? So, from your right atrium, mabubukas po yung tinatawag natin tricuspid valve, papasok naman na siya with your right ventricle. Again, from right atrium, papasok siya sa ating right ventricle. Again, kapag naririnig niyo po yung term na ventricle, dapat ang unang pumapasok po sa isip niyo would be sila yung nagpo-cause ng contraction or sila yung nag-e-eject ng blood. But with your right ventricle, i-e-eject niya yung blood papunta dun sa ating tinatawag na pulmonary artery. Again, from your right ventricle, papasok po yung dugo o yung deoxygenated blood, magkocontract yan. So mag-e-eject yan, papunta dun sa ating pulmonary artery. Question, from your pulmonary artery, saan pupunta yung ating dugo? With our lungs. Very good. Again, from your pulmonary artery, lalabas muna yung ating deoxygenated blood papunta sa ating lungs. Okay? So, sa lungs kasi dun po mangyayari yung oxygenation. Kaya from our lungs, babalik yung dugo sa ating pulmonary vein. Again, from your lungs, babalik po yung dugo from our pulmonary vein na oxygenated na. Saan siya unang papasok? Sa ating left atrium. from our left atrium, papasok naman siya with our left ventricle. Since ventricle yan, magpo-contract yan, siya yung mag-eject ng blood, papunta na dun sa ating largest coronary blood vessels, which is your aorta. Okay? So si aorta na po, siya na yung responsible or capable of delivering or providing the different, para magkaroon ng blood flow to the different parts of our body. Again, so then you have your superior and inferior vena cava. Papasok mo na kay right atrium, papasok kay right ventricle, since ventricle yan, siya yung mag-eject, papunta dun sa ating lungs. So from lungs, oxygenated na siya, babalik po siya from your pulmonary vein to your left atrium, left ventricle, and this ventricle will eject the blood papunta na po sa aorta. So paano kapag right-sided heart failure at saka left-sided heart failure? Can you take note with your right-sided heart failure, ang may problem po would be the right ventricle. In a way na, since merong problem yung right ventricle natin, it is unable to pump. Kaya naman hindi po siya makapag-pump ng dugo papunta sa ating lungs. So, ano mangyayari? Magkakaroon po ng backflow. So, yung binush ng dugo, babalik po sa right ventricle, babalik sa right atrium, babalik sa superior and your inferior vena cava, causing now your peripheral edema. Again, kapag right ventricle po yung may problem, so yung right ventricle natin, ang problem niya is hindi siya makapag-pump ng blood. Okay? So, di ba ang goal natin dito, kung di magpunta siya sa ating lungs. Okay? Since hindi makapag-pump ng blood yung ating right ventricle, babalik yung dugo. Magkakaroon ng backflow of blood to our right ventricle. And then, ipupush niya to your right atrium, and then magpupunta siya from your superior and inferior vena cava, causing now peripheral edema. So, yung dugo na tinataglay o yung dugo na meron dito, babalik lang din kung saan pinuha. Causing now your peripheral edema. Unlike kasi kapag left ventricle, so sa left-sided heart failure, ang problem po natin would be your left ventricle. Okay? So sa left ventricle, saan kasi muna magagaling yung dugo from your left atrium? Ano gagaling? So from pulmonary vein, saan magagaling? With your lungs. Okay? Kaya that's why, kapag sa left-sided heart failure, ang may problem po would be your left ventricle. So si left ventricle, hindi niya ma-push or hindi niya ma-pump yung blood papunta sa aorta, babalik kay left atrium, babalik kay pulmonary vein, magbabackflow sa lungs, causing now your pulmonary edema. Nag-gets po yung peripheral as well as pulmonary. Again, kapag right-sided, peripheral edema, so babalik po dun sa mga peripheral systems natin. Kapag left-sided, pulmonary edema. So babalik naman na yung dugo dun sa lungs. Okay? So that would be for your left and right-sided edema. Again, kapag right-sided, when blood cannot be pumped from the right ventricle into the lungs, it accumulates within the right ventricle. So nag-accumulate daw po siya dun sa right ventricle, yung fluid portion of the blood backs up throughout the body, causing now your peripheral edema. Okay? Kapag left-sided naman po, we have your pulmonary edema. Kaya nga, one cardinal signs ng mga patients with heart failure, whether left or right-sided, is we have your edema. So, if merong edema, anong isang drug na pwedeng gamitin for patients with heart failure? We have your diuretics. Kaya mamaya doon sa mga treatment options natin, dapat in conjunction sila with your diuretics. Okay, so this would be the table summarizing yung different symptoms or mga effects with your peripheral as well as pulmonary. Kapag peripheral, since babalik po siya sa ating mga peripheries, ang pinaka-maapektuhan dyan would be your liver, okay? As well as your gastrointestinal tract. Sa liver natin, magkakaroon ng liver congestion. Kapag pulmonary naman, magkakaroon naman po ng pulmonary congestion. So, ibig sabihin, yung fluid po mag-build up sa liver, yung fluid naman dito mag-build up sa ating lungs. Okay? So, that would be for your left and right-sided heart failure. So, nakaapat na tayo. Meron tayong low output. Kapag low output, ano nga kasi? Kapag normal yung demand, pero hindi ma-meet ng heart. Okay? Kapag high output, mataas yung demand, hindi pa din ma-meet ng heart. Kapag right-sided, peripheral edema. Kapag left-sided, pulmonary edema. Number 5 and 6, we have your systolic as well as your diastolic heart failure. So, dalawa lang naman na yung pinagkaiba nila. Kapag systolic, the ventricles, laging ventricles po yung may problem ha, cannot pump enough blood. So, problem po natin dito would be the pumping problem. So, hindi siya makapag-pump or makapag-eject ng blood. Pero kapag diastolic naman po, cannot fill enough blood. Okay? Ibig sabihin, kulang po yung dugo na nafe-fill dun sa ating ventricles. So, kapag systolic, pumping problem. Kapag diastolic, filling problem. So, that would be for your forms number 5 and number 6. And then, syempre, meron din tayong compensated, na-discuss ko na kanina, as well as your decompensated. Kapag compensated heart failure, okay naman na yung puso natin. Ngayon, sinabi ko kanina. So, your heart works well enough that you either don't notice any problems and the symptoms are easy to manage. Kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag ng compensatory mechanisms para kahit papaano maibsan po yung ating heart failure. Pero kapag decompensated na, meron ng problem. Nagkakaroon na po ng mismatch between your cardiac preload as well as with your cardiac outflow. So recall, ano nga kasi kapag cardiac preload, squeeze or stretch? Stretch mechanism. Kapag afterload, that would be your squeeze mechanism. So ano po yung different treatment goals for patients with heart failure? We have to remove or mitigate any underlying causes or risk factors. Pangalawa naman po, elimination of the ingestion of the certain drugs that can exacerbate your heart failure, such as your NSAIDs. So yung mga NSAIDs natin, very limited lang ito i-take ha. So yung mga addicted sa ibuprofen, mefenamic acid, kabahan na kayo, okay? So bawal na bawal po parang araw-arawin yung mga NSAIDs natin, okay? Another would be your oral hypoglycemic agent, your CCBs, ciclonidine, as well as your nasal decongestant. Another would be to relieve the symptoms. Yung mga symptoms natin such as your dyspnea, your edema, as well as your fatigue. Meron tayong mga drugs na ginagamit such as your inotropic agents, as well as your diuretics para ma-manage yung edema. And then lastly, to reduce yung emergency room visits natin and improve yung patients. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng QOL? Quality of life. So, dapat improve natin yung quality of life ni patient. So, this would be the following drugs that can be used in the management of your heart failure. Sa we have your diuretics, spironolactone, AT1 blockers, ACE inhibitors, Gitaris, beta blockers, ACE inhibitors. Question. Alin sa mga nabanggitan natin with your hypertension and angina ang hindi natin pwedeng gamitin for patients with heart failure? Ano yan dyan? Parang nawawala. Feeling niya kulang. We have your CCBs. Okay? Kahit to take note that with your CCBs, yung mga calcium channel blockers po natin, they are contraindicated for patients with heart failure. Bakit? Knowing that your CCBs can cause preload as well as your afterload, di ba yung mga CCBs natin, pinipigilan nila si calcium, okay? Si calcium yung ang ginagamit natin for contraction. Ang gusto po natin for patients with heart failure is that magkaroon ng contraction, okay? That's why yung calcium channel blockers po natin, they are contraindicated for patients with heart failure. Sige, 15 minutes break muna before we can proceed with this. So, shish. Okay, yung pinaka-bulk pa lang yung classes as well as yung forms ng heart failure, ha?